Here now is John Venable, Heritage Foundation Senior Research Fellow for Defense Policy. Let's start with first Vladimir Putin's response there when he said that, they just went off and went back on again. There's nothing to worry about. There's no radiation. What's your take?
Melissa, it's great to be with you. Very Chernobyl-esque, if you ask me. Very much a whitewash of what has taken place, whatever the incident was on the White Sea there on the northern tier of Russia. A lot of masking and a lot of misinformation. Normally, the wind blows from west to east in the northern hemisphere, and the recent prevailing wind has gone from north to south, and then as it coasted around, it went back toward the east. And that's basically the same plume path where you saw these notification sites, these radiation sensors being shut down as this plume hit those two locations. And very suspect, and obviously something that I don't think anyone can trust right now.
Now that they're back on, do we know what the readings look like?
Well, the readings are going to go down over time for several reasons. One is they could mask it like they've put a big sarcophagus over Chernobyl. They could put something over the top of a nuclear incident that would basically shield it. And the second side is that fire or whatever the explosion may have died down and gone out. And with it, you no longer have that rising cloud, that plume that we can trace. And so those are two very realistic thought processes of why they've actually been able to turn those sensors back on.
So if that's going on, then what would the damage be to the rest of the world, to the surrounding area? What's the danger? Because obviously this is nothing close to the size of Chernobyl, but everybody just watched that show on whatever network that documentary was on. Everybody watched it. What's the possible fallout from this?
Well, there's several different things that affect it. One is the type of wind that goes by. If it's just a very low-level wind, 5 to 7 knots, then that gives that radiation staying power over that region. There's a town about 18 miles east of where this little test site was on the White Sea, and that town has about a population of just less than 200,000. Another one a couple of miles east of that, for a total of around 500,000 people in that area. They're going to be the ones that are most affected. Here, radiation pills are going to help, and you've heard about the sale of those exploding, no pun intended, in the region. As far as the rest of the world goes, going to be much smaller impact than what we saw in Chernobyl, but time, again, will tell, just like it did in that incident.
John Venable, thank you.